Dylan. I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay 1. Um, Overall, I think that you have a good discussion here. I think that you're bringing in good key points to support the stance that you want to make. And I think you're unpacking those pieces of evidence pretty well. And for the most part, your paragraphs feel pretty well organized. It's towards the end where things get a little disorganized, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. There's just a couple things in the introduction first that I want to talk to you about. This is not an article. This is a short story. So make sure that you're referring to the appropriate genre. Second, short works in MLA need to be in quotation marks, not italicized. So you don't need to do both, just in quotation marks. And for the most part, I really like your summary details here. I think this is the one section, like this sentence in particular, it kind of feels like you're shooting off into another direction. So if you go back and read this, and if you got to this sentence, it kind of feels like the sentence is out of place. So if you included this point maybe in this paragraph through the use of an interrupter, so you could say something to the effect of there had been previous cases of diphtheria, comma, a concerning upper respiratory tract disease, comma, that Matilda had been exposed to. Does that make sense? That would help this point serve the purpose that you're trying to make it serve without feeling like a tangent. Because as it reads right now, it reads like a tangent. So here's the one thing that I want you to consider. I disagree that this is what the author is trying to do. Remember, and we talked about this in class, the author is really trying to talk about the gray area. I do not think that Williams wants us to let the doctor off without any criticism. In fact, most of the scholarship suggests that Williams believes the use of force is inappropriate in this case. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have your stance. Does that make sense? So you could certainly argue that it is appropriate. However, in order to do that, you have to be true to what the author originally says, or excuse me, what the author's original intent is. And remember, we talked about that quite a lot in depth in class, that really that's what Williams was exploring. He was exploring his own prejudice and his own potential, reactions, that he was afraid that he might get violent one day. So I think it's fine to have the stance that you have, but this is going to hurt your credibility if you present it this way. So you need to separate those two things. Down here, and your body paragraphs read pretty well, but down here, I would avoid beginning sentences with evidence because the reader doesn't know what to make of this. And in addition, I would say that this is pretty damning evidence right here, right? That this like really contradicts your argument. So without having a conversation to kind of sandwich that evidence, because he's flat out, admitting that he is beyond reason and he's assaulting her, right? So without sandwiching that evidence, those ideas are going to fall flat. So really, I think that it's a good idea. My point is in this case, you need to have a key idea. You need to have your own voice here before the evidence, and same thing here. So those are my pieces of feedback for you. Oh, there's some sentence fragments in here that you need to edit for as well. Some ideas that are good working ideas, but they've fallen flat for the reader. So you want to make sure that you give this essay a read for sentence fragments, okay, as well. All right. I think that this would be a good essay to revise if you're interested in doing so. All right, just let me know if you have any questions about that. Thanks.